Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since I've been here, but there's been a very interesting topic over the last week that I would like to address. And it's obviously about the rumors surrounding Xbox going third party and their exclusive games going to different platforms. Now, the rumor started off with Hi Fi Rush going to Nintendo and PlayStation and Sea of Thieves going to PlayStation. Um, I have some thoughts on these rumors, but these rumors really spiraled out of control, and we're now at the point where people think that Xbox is going completely third party. Now, if that's going to happen, I'm going to share my thoughts on that, both from a gamer perspective as well as a business perspective. So let's just get into that. I want to start off by saying that the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, has stated in the past that he would love to see a future where games are not exclusive, where games can be played on every single platform. With that rumor, with that statement, the rumors seem a lot more plausible because that does fit such as vision. However, a vision and a dream does not always translate to business. That's not how business works. And I think that is the discussion that's going on at Microsoft and Xbox right now, which also explains why they've been very, very radio silent. Quite honestly, at this point, I don't think Xbox knows what they're gonna do, or they're finalizing the details at this point because there is a statement coming over the next week. Um, However, it seems such a really wants to see games go into different platforms, and from a black and white perspective, that makes a lot of sense because more players means more people you can sell to, which means more income. That's very reasonable logic. However, there is an Xbox brand, and I think the heads at Xbox, the Phil Spencer and the Sarah Bonds, are definitely pushing against this strategy, and for very good reasons. Reasons we've seen discussed by the Xbox community. Now, as far as the reasons to go against this, there are two, and they come from different type of Xbox gamers. On one hand, we have the Xbox diehard fanboys, and I do mean the actual fanboys who make their entire personality about Xbox. They don't want to see those games on different platforms for pitiful reasons. They just want to keep the games for themselves because it's their plastic box and it's their precious treasure. Um, like I said, very pitiful reasons. On the other hand, you have people who don't really care necessarily about whether games are exclusives or not. They just care about the strength of the brand. And that does tie into exclusives. I'd like to consider myself part of that second group of people. Now, why would the brand lose strength over losing exclusive games? There is a very valid reason that I've heard from people within the community, the Xbox community, that I hope the heads at Xbox are also pushing for, explaining why bringing all the exclusive games to different platforms is not the best strategy. And is this: if you are a gamer, and let's say we're moving on to the next generation, you're gonna have to make a choice. I mean, some people make a choice, other people just get both consoles, but most people will choose their platform and have that as their main platform, even if they do get the other platform down the line or even on release. You're gonna have your favorites. I have my PlayStation 5. I love my PlayStation 5, but I'm an Xbox main. And that goes for a lot of people. It goes for a lot of people who have both consoles. They're going to choose either Xbox or PlayStation. They're going to get most of their third party lineup on that platform. And that's how you really create a gamer on that platform. With that being said, you need a reason to get a certain console. Now, for me personally, like I said, I'm an Xbox main. Why did I get a PlayStation? Because I want to play Final Fantasy 16, 7 Rebirth, and Grand Blue Fantasy. I've played two of those, waiting for the third. And that's the reason I bought a PS5. I'm still an Xbox main, even though I've used my PlayStation a little bit more over the last couple of months because of games that I really wanted to play. Um, but yeah, I'm still an Xbox main player. And like I said, you need your reasons to get a console. If you lose all the exclusives, we're gonna get into some sort of Xbox One territory where there isn't a lot of reason to go Xbox. Um, I prefer the Xbox ecosystem with things like the rewards program. We now have Game Pass, which is cool and all. But there are a lot of reasons to go with PlayStation. And every reason that Xbox has, PlayStation has their counterpart. And you can argue those counterparts aren't as good as Xbox's, but they're still there. You could say Xbox Game Pass is way better than PS Plus, and I would agree. It doesn't mean that PS Plus is bad. The rewards program for Xbox has been phenomenal, and we're now also getting PS Plus points, or something along those lines. I might have gotten the name wrong. Anyway, PlayStation is getting their counterparts set up. A lot of people would argue that the bigger controller for Xbox was a lot nicer, and while we're still having, um, the mirrored sticks on PlayStation, the controller is getting bigger, so people with bigger hands, they're gonna have a more sturdier controller now with PlayStation, which also has a lot of neat features. So, with all that being said, PlayStation has been catching up on the reasons people want an Xbox, and the only driving force Xbox has at this point are the exclusives and the many, many studios they have now that could bring those exclusives. And when you remove that, you remove the last bit of strength that people have. Now, there are a couple of things that could happen. We're going to start off with the initial rumor, which is Hi Fi Rush going to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, Sea of Thieves going to PlayStation. Uh, I think those are two examples of games that Xbox can easily miss as exclusives at this point. Sea of Thieves have been exclusive for 6 years, I want to say. Not entirely sure. It's around about 6 years. Anyone who wants to play a game like Sea of Thieves at this point and wants to get an Xbox for that has. There is no one at this point who's gonna look at Sea of Thieves and say, I should probably buy an Xbox for that. If they wanted to do that, they've done so by now. When we have Hi-Fi Rush, we have a game that a lot of people are very passionate about. And for some people, it was the game of the year last year. I think that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but still. Some people felt very passionate about that game. But when I look at a game like Hi-Fi Rush, it's a double A game at best. It's not a system seller. We've had it exclusive for a year. At this point, it would probably just generate more sales on a different platform. And I really don't see anyone looking at a game like Hi-Fi Rush, and it's not to knock the game because you want smaller titles on your platform. Those are just as important as all the big heavy hitters. But I don't see anyone looking at a game like Hi-Fi Rush and thinking, I should really get an Xbox for that. That just doesn't happen. And at this point, I think Hi-Fi Rush is gonna have more value going to a different platform than just staying exclusive. Because at that point, it could be a marketing tool. You would have Hi-Fi Rush on a PlayStation, a couple of people are gonna buy it, they're gonna boot up the game, they're gonna see Xbox Studios, they're gonna see Bethesda, they're gonna see the studio name, and whenever that studio is gonna announce a new game, and that is gonna be exclusive, people are gonna be like, hey, I really liked Hi-Fi Rush. I really like what the studio did there. I might want to keep an eye on that game, and that's variable. That could be the one game that's gonna bring someone over to buy an Xbox. Again, when we're talking about a game like Hi-Fi Rush, it's not a system seller, and so anything related to that is not gonna be a system seller either. But let's say we're gonna have a new game by that studio and someone is on the fence of getting Xbox or not, they're gonna see that, they're gonna think, that game is coming as well. Or perhaps I should buy an Xbox. So again, we're not talking about people who are not buying an Xbox, they suddenly have the desire to do so. I'm talking about people who are on the fence and that giving them just that extra little nudge to go for it. That's not going to happen with a game they don't know. That is going to happen with a studio they are familiar with because of past work. Hi-Fi Rush could be that past work. So with that, I think it's very reasonable to go with those type of games and bring them to different platforms. And I know that's not the industry standard. I know PlayStation is keeping everything for themselves. Nintendo is keeping everything for themselves. But Xbox is third in the market. Whether you agree they should be third in the market or not, the fact is they are. And if they want to move up, if they want to bring more consumers to the platform, they're gonna have to make different moves. They can't just do what PlayStation and Nintendo are doing because they've been doing this for years and years and they've built their audience. Xbox needs to do different things if they want to catch up. And bringing these type of games to those platforms could be the thing that closes the gap further. With that being said, we've also heard rumors of games like Starfield going to PS5. That, in my opinion, would be a mistake. Because at that point, you're just telling people, hey, we have this big flagship title, this completely new IP. It's going to be an amazing title, and whether it has been or not, that's personal preference. I really liked Starfield, played it quite a lot, enjoyed it quite a lot. Um, that is your system seller type game. It's a big title with a lot of merit, with a lot of unique, interesting selling points. That is a game that can bring people to your platform. If you're just gonna tell people, hey, you can get a game, you can get an Xbox to get this game on day one, or you can just wait a year and play your backlog titles in the meantime and play all the other different games that are coming out, people are gonna go with option two. What you want is give them a reason to go with option one and get the Xbox for that game. And you do that by making sure that they cannot get it on a different platform. Not just a year after. A year exclusivity doesn't mean that much. We've seen that with games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which also was a year exclusive. A lot of people bought a PS4 for that. There were also plenty of people who were just like, just gonna wait a year. It's fine. Just gonna wait a year. And you want to convince those people to get an Xbox. And now we've heard rumors of Indiana Jones and the Blade title that's coming over a couple of years, that they're probably going to be games that we see released on PlayStation. Um, Again, with two options: either they're going to launch their day one, and the Xbox benefit is going to be that you can have Game Pass, so you don't have to buy it, you can get it through your subscription. Cool, fine. The other option has been that it's probably going to be a year exclusive, and PlayStation players can get the games a year later. Like I said, what you're telling people is you want this big Indiana Jones game, get an Xbox. Get an Xbox, play it tomorrow. Or don't, play it next year. And that's something you don't want to do. You want to build your brand, because if you don't treat your brand like an A-class system and the place to be, then developers and publishers are not going to do that either. And that is why people are so concerned for this exclusive rumors. Because again, like I said, we have two groups of people who are against it. We have the fanboys for pitiful reasons. We have the normal Xbox fans. We just want their platform to be strong. And the moment you're not interested in bringing people to your platform, the moment you're not growing your core audience, What's going to happen is we're going to see a lot more publishers and developers thinking, there's no audience there. We shouldn't put time and effort in getting our games on that platform. We should just focus on the other ones. That's something we have been seeing for quite a while. How many games have been port bagged into Xbox because initially the developer wasn't even thinking about releasing on Xbox because they didn't thought the audience would be there? How hard do you think it would be for PlayStation to buy exclusive rights for a lot of titles when the sales expectations are higher? They're not high enough. That's the problem. The problem we're not having games like Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox is because PlayStation can just easily say, we're paying you this amount, you don't release on Xbox. And Square's thinking, well, this is the amount on the table right now, we can have that. Or we can release on Xbox and see if we can make that money. We're not entirely sure if we will. Guaranteed income? Not guaranteed income. You know what you're choosing, right? So, with that, what Xbox should do is definitely treat their platform first and make sure that their platform is strong. And you're not going to do that by bringing all the exclusive games to different platforms. Also, not if it's timed exclusives. Also, not with the promise of Game Pass. So, what I think will happen is we are going to see select titles going to different platforms. Your Sea of Thieves, your Hi Fi Rush. I think they're probably going to test the waters with a game like Indiana Jones just to see what the reaction is going to be from both Xbox and PlayStation communities. But overall, I think a lot of people within Xbox have been pushing against this idea. I think that's also the reason why it's taken so long for something to be actually announced, because they're still debating how far they're going to take this. Now, do I think this releasing games on different platforms thing is going to happen? Yes. Uh, they're already kind of forced to. I mean, they're releasing everything Minecraft on different platforms because they bought Mojang. Uh, already having released the games on those different platforms, and they don't want to disappoint those fans. Very logical. They've bought Activision, and they are forced to bring Call of Duty to different platforms. Otherwise, that deal was never going through. They've signed deals for that. It's going on there for the next 10 years. So the merit of releasing their games on different platforms already exists, and I think they're going to extend on that. What I hope as an Xbox gamer is that they're not going to take it too far, because I don't want the Xbox family devalued. Um, I hope the head of Xbox agree with that, and I think they do. I think they've probably pushed against this narrative and saying it's a very nice dream to have every game on every platform, but unless we can get something back from PlayStation and Nintendo, we should not just do this to this extent. That's what I think is happening. If that's the case, we'll find out in a couple of days whenever the announcement is actually going to happen. And until then, one thing I just want to say to Xbox fans who have been so anxious, there is nothing you can do at this point. Concerns have been voiced. Just relax, wait and see what happens, and just respond to that. With that, I just want to say thank you for watching, and hopefully until next time.